evening, Nigeria. This is Voice of the People Television, where we give you more than a voice. You're now tuned into the political lens, and I must tell you, as always, this is not just another talk show. My name is Chioma Innocent, and I'm your host for today. I bid you welcome to the front lines of the real conversation, the place where power meets its match and where politics is more than just a game. It's a battle for the future of our great nation. Tonight, as we are asking, they had questions, the questions that you are asking us. We are also asking the same questions. Why are the promises many, but the progress few? In a country where politicians talk more than they act and the people are told to be patient, while mismanagement continues, we're not here to sugarcoat or to play safe. If you're tired of recycled excuses and scripted apologies, sit tight, because tonight we're cutting through the noise and calling it what it is. Welcome to the political lens. Let's get into it. We'll begin the conversation today with the Julius Abure-led faction of the Labour Party issuing a 48-hour ultimatum to its presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, to resign from the party following his alignment with a newly formed opposition coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. You'll recall that Obi was among the top political figures who met on Wednesday to adopt the African Democratic Congress, ADC, as the coalition to oust President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC come 2027. However, in a statement signed and issued today in Abuja, the Abure-led faction's National Publicity Secretary, Abure, warned that Obi's support for the coalition directly contradicts the position of the faction, which has distanced itself from the alliance, describing its members as power mongers and frustrated politicians. Abure, who did not hold back in his criticism of the coalition, warned Nigerians that the often repeated slogan of a new Nigeria was nothing but a ruse, considering the people behind it. In his words, "We are aware of several nocturnal meetings between Peter Obi and some of our members, lobbying them to join him in his new party. We are also aware that a number of them have refused to defect with him." The Labour Party chieftain said the coalition comprises individuals responsible for Nigeria's past misgovernance and accused them of using the platform to relaunch themselves into the circle of power. This is a concern that many Nigerians have, actually. Now, the Labour Party has also warned that it will no longer tolerate divided loyalties, stressing that members cannot belong to two political platforms simultaneously. While this is happening, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is also positioning ahead of the 2025 by-elections and the 2027 general elections. The party has officially commenced the sale of expression of interest and nomination forms for the 2025 by-elections starting from Thursday, July 3, 2025. According to the party's approved guidelines, aspirants seeking to contest for Senate seats under the PDP platform will be required to pay 500,000 naira for the expression of interest form and 3 million naira for the nomination form, totaling 3.5 million naira. For those vying for positions in the House of Representatives, the expression of interest form costs 500,000 naira, while the nomination form costs about 2 million, totaling 2.5 million naira. At the State House of Assembly level, prospective candidates are expected to pay 100,000 naira for the expression of interest form and 500,000 naira for the nomination form, totaling 600,000 naira. And you can see that the PDP is already making moves ahead of the 2025 by-elections and the 2027 general elections. Today, joining me on Political Lens to discuss these and other issues, I'll be joined virtually by our guest from Benin, Comrade Godspar Okumbo. He's the Secretary General of the Edo Civil Society Organizations. He's also a public affairs analyst, a human rights activist, advocate and also a political commentator. Now we'll go on a short break, and when we return, my guest will actually be here to join the conversation. Let's feel the pulse of the nation and talk about what is really going on as at this moment. This is Political Lens. Stay with us on Voice of the People Television.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Thank you for staying tuned. This is still the Political Lens right here on Voice of the People Television. I'm your host. My name is Chioma Innocent. We're talking about the Labour Party. That is the Abure faction of the Labour Party. Abure, who keeps saying he's a national chairman despite what anyone wants to say, despite the Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee, which has endorsed Obi's coalition or his movement with the ADC. The Abure faction is saying, look, Peter Obi, we give you 48 hours to leave. I'm being joined by Comrade Godspower Kumbo all the way from Benin to talk about these issues. Welcome, Comrade, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Thank you so much. All right, let's quickly get into the issues this evening on the Political Lens. Abure is not happy, and one cannot but understand why. You do remember the whole struggle that happened between himself and his supporters. Obiora is one of the people who is on Julius Abure's side, is the spokesman of the Abure faction. Let's not even talk about the Lamidi Apapa faction of the party. A lot of Nigerians do not recognize that faction. But then the one that was being backed by Peter Obi was the Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee that was created. There is also a court case around that particular situation. Julius Abure is giving Peter Obi 48 hours to resign from the Labour Party if he knows that he wants to be a part of the coalition. From all indications, Obi is also hoping to be the flag bearer of the coalition. Is this the first time we'll be seeing someone being in two parties at the same time? Or is there being one leg in and one leg out of the Labour Party? That's one leg in the Labour Party, the other in the ADC. In the coming days, will you be expecting to see him say, look, I've left the Labour Party for good and the ADC is my new party?
Okay. Well, thank you for that question. You see, I'm just laughing all through because even the one we think is going to propose solution to Nigeria problem is still not different from those that have been there that is on ground. Let me talk about Peter Obi first of all. You know, this issue of this mindset of our politicians will not do them well. The attitude of our politicians, where they always pursue self-interest. The attitude of Nigeria politicians who are after what they will get, their gain, will not help them. Now, you agree with me that Peter Obi has, to some extent, in the law of Nigerians. During the last presidential election, we all saw what happened. Everybody en masse was in support of Peter Obi. Now, the same Peter Obi, the modus operandi, the way he's doing his things now, is now reflecting the attitude of a Nigeria politician, whom we thought he is not, or he was not. Because at this very moment, Peter Obi is aware that it is not ideal, it is not, I don't want to use the word responsible, for one to be in party A and still, just like Wike, we all know. A lot of people will say this is not a bad thing, but your reputation matters. Now, going by what Abure have said, I think to some extent, I am not a politician, I've said it time without number. The constitution, the rules of the Labour Party should be looked at. If Peter Obi indeed said, oh, you are part of the coalition and you are still involving with activities in the Labour Party, then we should look at their constitution to know what he said about that. But you agree with me that it is not ideal. If you are in for party A, be with party A. If you are in for party B, be with party B. So Abure and whoever, they are all politicians. I think what they are doing is what every other party members will do.
What they are doing is what other party members will do. So here's the thing. The Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee has rejected the 48-hour ultimatum issued to Peter Obi by the Julius Abure faction of the party. In fact, they're endorsing him and then saying, if the ADC is the party that you will use to actually move Nigeria forward, I mean, if you can actually do all the things you said you will do for the country through the ADC, we endorse you. Go ahead and do whatever. Do what you say that you will do. It just reminds one of Wike being in the PDP and working with the APC administration. A lot of people saying that Wike was the one who destroyed the PDP. Is it really in Peter Obi's best interest to kind of be in two places at the same time?
Well, if you are asking me if Wike, what he did, if it's the same thing Peter Obi is trying to do, I don't know. But if you're asking me if Peter Obi have a good plan for Nigerians, I will say I don't know as well. Because at first, Peter Obi came with a manifesto that is almost the people's agitation, what the people want. To me, if he say anywhere so far you become the leader of Nigeria and you take Nigeria to El Dorado or what you have, the good things you have in mind, I will not agree with that. Because it must not be by any means to help. It must not be by any means. Okay, they have left their political parties. I think the essence of what I was thinking about this coalition at first was for PDP especially. Because what Wike has done to PDP has caused so much frustration and confusion. And those who still have their strength, who can still do something in politics, I said, okay, since we cannot make use of this, let's create a new one. I really don't know how Peter Obi come in all of this. To be sincere, I don't know. Because the Labour Party, the last time I checked, even though they have their issues, and the Labour Party has almost gaining ground as far as Nigeria is concerned. So what is now the essence of Peter Obi coaliting with others to deliver Nigeria? I don't know if maybe he will be the one to answer this question. Because up till now, I am still thinking, what is the essence? What is the need for joining force with to create other coalition as a member of the Labour Party, whom we all know that came to light during the last presidential or general election. And everybody in Nigeria, I'm sure if not every, almost everyone in Nigeria was in support of that party. What now happened? That they are not using it to run again. They want to deliver Nigeria with another party.
We so can't say definitely not everyone in Nigeria was in support of that party, because from what we saw in 2023 and from INEC's declaration, President Bola Tinubu won that election. So if everyone in Nigeria was in support of that party, maybe Peter Obi would have been the president today. But based on the back and forth between the Julius Abure faction of the Labour Party and the Senator Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee. Senator Nenadi Usman is making it known that Obi actually got approval to join the coalition. That was when she was firing back at the Abure faction. Does this mean that the Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee is also planning to move over to the ADC, that's to follow Obi to the ADC, after the whole issue with them saying Abure is not supposed to be the chairman and all of that? It will seem like you came, you've been in a place, you destroyed your home, and then you want to go and join somebody else's home. Is that what is playing out here? When the Caretaker Committee chairman says, okay, you can go and join another party, and then fighting with other people within the party for the interest of someone who came to meet them inside the party.
Well, I don't know if you are asking if the people that is taking side with Peter Obi now and retaliating with statement of Abure. What you should understand is these people are politicians. I've said it time without number. They are politicians. Their interest is what they want for themselves. And this is, I'm happy that this is happening. So Nigeria will be careful. Nigeria should be careful. When you're asking if it's a red flag that they are joining Peter Obi, of course. Every one of them has a principle. I've seen politicians who are not politicians. What I mean by that is their commitment, their respect, what have you, is given to a particular politician, who is to them is the principal. So any party that principal belongs to, automatically they are members of that party. You should know this. Even though they have not joined, that does not mean they will not, or they are not there already. So for him to have sent that message that Peter Obi got the approval to join the coalition, it's enough for all of us to know that they are already there with him.
It's enough for all of us to know that they're already there with him. Thank you, Comrade Godspar Okumbo. You are still tuned in to the Political Lens right here on Voice of the People Television. We've now been joined by Sir Eugene Osigwe, who's the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Voluntary Sector Management. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, sir. And we apologize for the issues that came up. Thank you so much for joining us. Please unmute your mic, Mr. Eugene Osigwe. Mr. Eugene, can you hear me, sir? Please unmute your microphone so that we can continue the conversation. All right, this is still the Political Lens on Voice of the People Television. We've actually been joined by Mr. Eugene Osigwe, but I'll need you to unmute your mic, sir, so that you can hear us. In the meantime, the conversation continues. We're talking about the Labour Party, and that's the Abure faction of the Labour Party, giving Peter Obi 48 hours to resign from the party. And now one question that comes to mind is, you're giving him 48 hours to resign from the party. How about kick him out? How about expel him from the party? Just the same way Amechi yesterday left the PDP and said he was surprised that he hadn't even been expelled before he tendered his resignation or before he left the party. So if you feel, if the Abure faction of the Labour Party feels that Peter Obi is doing something he ought not to be doing, then why not kick him out of the party? And let it be known, like, look, this person is no longer a part of us because he's sabotaging the party, or he is not exactly working for us the way we want him to work for us. Why wait for him to resign and then give him 48 hours to do that? Now it looks like a clash of the leaders of the party because, of course, the Senator Nenadi Usman Caretaker Committee has their supporters, one of which is Peter Obi and the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti. And then on the other hand, Julius Abure has his own supporters as well. So these two leaders of the Labour Party that has been thoroughly factionalized I'm not fighting over whether Obi should be a part of the party or not. Why not kick him out instead of saying resign in 48 hours? Because the man doesn't look like he's about to resign anytime soon. But then I do not call the shots. This is Political Lens and Voice of the People Television. My name is Chioma Innocent. I still have right here Comrade Godspar Okumbo, who joined us all the way from Benin, and also Mr. Eugene Osigwe, the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Voluntary Sector Management. Can you hear me, Mr. Eugene Osigwe?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you so much.
Too?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. It's a pleasure to hear from you this evening. Let's get right into the conversation. I would like you to answer the last question that was raised. If the Labour Party is telling Obi, leave in 48 hours, why not expel him? You know how expulsion kind of like has more stigma than if one just resigns on their own. When one resigns, it looks like, oh, you've had enough or you're moving on to better things. But when one is expelled or when one is kicked out, it looks as if we just cannot deal with your excesses anymore. Please go.
Well, I just came into the conversation at the middle of it, but let me see if I can connect with the discourse. Well, what you could understand, if you are giving an ultimatum to somebody to resign from your party, as you have asked, it should be one. Don't forget that at this time emotions are very high, and everybody is trying to cut a piece of influence for himself in this political structure as we approach 2027. So it will not be out of place when somebody expresses sentiments, asking somebody who is a big fish in that political party to leave because of sentiments. Most of it is sentiments. And secondly, we should also understand the space and the temperament of the average Nigerian politician. Yes, even if we know that we just have a little contribution to make to the development of the party, each one wants to hold passionately to it. You see, Nigerians have been described as a nation of leaders and no followers. So in our own circle of influence, we are all leaders. No matter how small that corner is, we don't want to relinquish it. We want to hold on to it to still be relevant. So what I will say is that it's not unexpected at this time, but we have to give it time and see how the dynamics works out and how they're able to connect and negotiate the troubled waters at this time and move their political agenda forward. So it's not unexpected. I'm not surprised. And given the influence of Peter Obi that was able to pull within the very short possible time that he threw his cap of context in the 2023 election, it will be very sentimental for anybody to let him go. But if he's there, then you can understand the emotion. That's look, resign and leave. We must look at it from the emotional point of view rather than from political point of view. So let's see how the emotions play out at this time, because there are so many dynamics that are still yet to play out in the future, in the very near future. So let's still give it time and see how they navigate these waters. I feel that if we allow reasons to prevail, then we'll find a way around this seemingly unsurmountable challenge.
Based on your response, Mr. Eugene, the waters are indeed troubled, not just in the Labour Party, also in the PDP as well, and people who have been a part of the ADC before this coalition came to effect a total takeover. Now, one of the people who are not very happy about the state of affairs in the ADC right now is the 2023 presidential candidate of the party, Dumebi Kachiku, who he is seriously vituperating, Mr. Eugene. He's saying he's been a member of the party for a while. He shot the party to relevance. He's saying he came fifth in the last election out of 19 candidates, that he is the reason why that party is even where it is at this moment. Even though that party has only one House of Assembly member in Kogi State, I think that's Leke Abejide, representing Yagba Federal Constituency. So one would wonder exactly what popularity is Mr. Dumebi Kachiku talking about? Also, about 2 days ago, some people within the ADC came out to say, look, we were not consulted. Critical stakeholders were not consulted before these people came to take over. It's like being in your house and some people come and say, oh, we have authority to take over this house, and you're wondering, why did nobody tell me about this? So Mr. Kachiku is insisting that the Atiku coalition members are being sponsored against the ADC as they are all friends. What would you say about this particular sentiment that Mr. Kachiku harbors at this moment?
Well, the sentiment expressed Mr. Kachiku is not new. If you look at the history of Nigerian politics, it's a recurring decimal at every point when we have a lot at stake. So if you go even from before the pre-independence, if you trace our history, it has always been that. So now what the politicians are missing at this point is that they have not learned their lesson from our previous history, our previous experiences. That they should try as much as possible to try and take everybody along. This is the time for deal cutting. Yes, Mr. Kachuku, I can understand his sentiments. He was there, he was the presidential candidate for the last election. You can't just come and push him out because you are, in quotes, a big weight coming from another political party. But we should not also forget that coalition is not new here. The APC we are talking about had this teething problem at the formation stage. And you remember that some members even have to leave PDP to join the APC to get the incumbent out of power. So what we're experiencing is not new. So, but the sad thing is, if we have not learned from the experiences of the past, then the future is challenged, seriously challenged. So all those involved must now say, look, let everybody keep the ego behind the back seat. Let the interests of what they're after, the goal, the vision that they have for the country, let it be the primary factor. That should be the center of their appeal. But if you do grandstanding, there's going to be crisis. And this crisis is what led to, in the West, what we call Operation Whittier in Oyo State then. We remember the case of Abure of Ondo State, where people's houses were set on fire. So there are precedents that we must guide against, that should guide going forward with this coalition. So that will be my my appeal to them. For Kachuku, you should take it easy. Let him find how he can navigate. There is something, I believe, for everybody for what they are doing now. Grandstanding is not the way forward. Negotiation is the key. So he should find the key to negotiating his position. He has set the party during turbulent times, during the last election, so he should be recognized. So he should find a way of reaching out, and the other people should also take his importance into consideration going forward. Otherwise, we also now go through the cycle, meaning that we have not learned from our political history in this kind of development when it comes to coalition trying to take over power.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eugene Osigwe, for that response. I'll now go over to Comrade Godspar Okumbo in Benin. Thank you for staying with us, Comrade Okumbo. Now, there's been a revelation that the ADC coalition is structured to produce Atiku as the flag bearer. This is according to Kachiku. Some Nigerians feel that, oh, he's talking from a place of pain, while others feel that, look, Atiku has an ambition, and this may be the last time that he will be able to contest. So, it makes sense to hand him the ticket for 2027, maybe or maybe not, with Obi as his vice. Obi has said he will be a one-term president when he comes in. If the coalition is indeed planning to hand over the ticket to Atiku in 2027, is that the best decision?
No, that for me is not the best decision. If you look at the history of both persons that we're talking about now, they have not worked, and I'm not sure they even have planned that they will ever work together. Take for instance, Peter Obi, I said it earlier. Peter Obi, the kind of accolade he got, and the way Nigerians, I'm sure, the way Nigerians was on him on his matter during the last presidential election shows that they like him. So let me tell you, with the current trend and direction is going now, I'm still sure too, because we are closer to the people than many of them. No, Nigerians will be afraid to come Peter Obi or do anything in regard to election. The reason is that the kind of people that is not mingling with, is not going out with in the name of trying to rescue Nigeria are the people that Nigerians don't trust. If, for instance, are people who have been there in politics for years, I think the only problem Atiku have is that he has not become a president. Because vice president to him is not what he wants. So the only thing he wants to achieve is to become a president of Nigeria. And I don't think there's any other thing that he wants to do again. Now, you are not bringing in Peter Obi, who we thought is very kind of aware of what Nigeria is faced with genuinely and is ready to take steps in addressing them. I don't think that Peter will be making a team with Atiku is the best prescription. And I'm very sure that Nigeria will be disappointed if at the long run this is what we are going to have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Comrade Okumbo. I'd like to come back to you, Mr. Eugene Osigwe. Thank you for staying with us with a variant of that same question. Many Nigerians believe that this coalition may be trying to confuse the APC, confuse other opposition figures, and also maybe to confuse the media. Maybe by the time they put Atiku forward to say this is the person to beat, the APC might be lax or lackadaisical in their approach and feel like, oh, it's Atiku, we've been beating him over and over again. Of course, we'll beat him again, only to present Obi as a much stronger candidate when later on. Is this a very good strategy, if indeed that's what's going on? Please unmute your microphone, Mr. Eugene Osigwe. Are you with us, Mr. Osigwe? Please unmute your microphone so that you can answer the question. All right, let's go back to Comrade Godspa Okumbo, pending when Eugene Osigwe unmute his microphone so that we can actually continue the conversation. But I will come back to this particular question. In the meantime, let's look at the next topic. Mr. Eugene Osigwe, are you with us now?
Yes, I think I'm with you.
Okay, thank you so much. So the question I asked was, many Nigerians believe that this is a ruse, saying, although Dumebi Kachiku, who seems to be pained by the whole development of his party being taken over by people whom he feels are enemies of Nigeria, is the one saying this, that the coalition is planning or indeed plotting to present Atiku as their presidential candidate. Some Nigerians believe that this is a ruse to confuse the APC and other opposition parties ahead of 2027, that if they do indeed present Atiku, maybe at the last moment, at the 11th hour, Obi can now be put forward as the candidate to beat. Do you think the APC will actually relax if Atiku were presented by the coalition? I mean, they've been beating Atiku over and over again. Maybe this time around it will also be a walk in the park for the APC.
Well, Obi and Atiku, they have their strong points from the last result of the last election. So each of them has his or her area of strength and weaknesses. So I hope you are hearing me.
I can hear you, Mr. Osigwe. Please go ahead.
Okay. They all have their area of strength and weaknesses. Then you see, the horizon for the ADC is not clear as yet. They've just met. Every other thing we are saying now is speculation. So let's give them time and see whether they're actually serious to form a formidable opposition to the APC. Because their choice of candidates will decide whether Nigeria will take them seriously or not. For now, I think it is still too early for us to begin to speculate. So let's wait and see what the next couple of weeks will bring forth. Then we'll now begin to assess them from there. But for me, if they are putting Atiku forward as their presidential flag bearer, well, I don't think that it will pose to Nigerians as they're actually very serious in wrestling power from the APC. My reason for saying that is this, that we know what happened in the last election, and we saw the time frame within which Obi came into prominence to contest after leaving the PDP, which is a structured party, and we saw the impact he was able to do, and we saw how Nigerians rallied around him, and we saw his effect, despite the fact that he was there in less than 6 months. I am not sure that he has lost that following. And if we toy with that, then I think that the ADC with Atiku there as their presidential flag bearer may just be an easy walk away for the APC.
All right, then it will be so easy for the APC to beat Atiku in 2027, according to Mr. Eugene Osigwe. Let's move on to our next topic. The PDP has officially commenced the sale of expression of interest and nomination forms for the 2025 by-election starting from today, Thursday, July the 3rd, 2025. The party's approved guidelines are saying that aspirants seeking to contest for Senate seats under the PDP platform will be required to pay 500,000 for expression of interest form and 3 million naira for nomination form. Now, these are the people who want to contest under the platform of the party going into the Senate. 3.5 million naira if you want to be a senator to contest under the party. If you want to be a House of Reps member, 500,000 naira for nomination of interest and 2 million naira for expression of interest form, rather 500,000, then 2 million naira for nomination form. We do know that the sale of forms whenever elections are coming up is a way that the PDP, that parties, political parties, try to raise money for the party so that they can do everything that they need to do. Then also, for people at the State House of Assembly level, it's 100,000 naira for expression of interest forms. Yes, and then 500,000 naira for the nomination form. So if you want to be a State House of Assembly member under the PDP, you want to express your interest, you want to contest under the PDP, that's about 600,000 naira. We know that the Nigerian currency right now has been devalued. Nigerians right now are grasping with the devaluation of the naira. But is this, let's really look at the amounts, because when the APC pegged their presidential form at 100 million naira in 2022, a lot of Nigerians were not happy about the situation. They were really, really upset. Does this amount make it easier for the average Nigerian to say, you know what, if 600,000 naira is what it's going to cost me in the interim to vie for a State House of Assembly member under the PDP, maybe I should go in and do this? I'd like you to answer that question, Mr. Eugene Osigwe.
I don't know what the last sales of form was in the last election. I don't know what it is compared to what it is now. But sale of form is a way of raising funds for the party. So if it is below what it was last time, then it means that they are trying to get more people to buy into the next election. But if it is more than what it is, then it means that they are still giving room for godfatherism. So I have to see take both figures to compare and be able to say something as far as the sales of funds are concerned.
No, I'm even talking about, does this make it easier for the average Nigerian to, because the average Nigerian, yes, we know that poverty is rife in the land. The purchasing power has been depleted to a very large extent. But does this make it easier for the average Nigerian to just speak to their family, friends, loved ones, people who may have been telling them to go and contest, say, oh, you have a very good mind. I mean, you can be a good politician. 600,000 naira for State House of Assembly level. Will it be very easy for the average Nigerian to raise? Because due to the amounts that they sell these things most of the time, you see many people saying, okay, I would like to join, but I cannot. I mean, in the last election, we saw an Okada rider win under the Labour Party. So does this make it easier for the average Nigerian to be involved in the democratic process through contesting elections?
Well, it should be. It should be easy for people to pull that money together, especially now. The only industry we have thriving in Nigeria is politics. So, and people will be able to pull the money together to support their candidate to buy form if he can demonstrate a little tendency that he may be able to win the election. It should be easy for them. But however, when you use the word average, it looks like a tall order, because I don't know how many average Nigerians can put that money together now just to buy a nomination form. But for politicians and their crew, it should be something easy. From the figure, I think the rate against last election has come down a little. So, which means that they are giving more people opportunity to try as much as possible to participate in the forthcoming election, which is a good thing. But still, I think it's not easily applicable to the average person, because I don't know how many average people can put that money together for a nomination form where I'm not even so sure that you get the nomination to represent your constituency in the forthcoming election. So it's a double-edged thing. Depends on from what angle you are looking at it. For the average man, it's not going to be easy, but for the average politician, yes, it's not a big deal for them to put that money together.
All right, I'll come to you, Mbini, Comrade Godspower Kumbo. Thank you for staying with us up till this moment. I'd like to get your concluding thoughts on what we've discussed today, but on this particular topic, right? Would anyone want to join the PDP now that it seems that the big wigs of the party are moving to the ADC, even if they sell the farm for 100,000 naira, or 50,000, or 20,000? Would anyone really want to contest under the platform of the PDP? Would they feel like they have a high fighting chance now that the ADC seems to be the one in the spotlight, seems to be what I'll call the man or the party of the moment?
Yeah.
Comrade Okumbo, I can hardly hear you. There is an interruption.
On your end, it's very, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, please.
What I'm saying is, as far as I know, is Nigerians always want to take advantage of every opportunity they have. So, like you are asking, if the form is being selling for 50,000, yes, Nigeria will want to try to see what they can get. But outside that, the issue we last discussed about the price. 600,000 is still too much money. If you are talking about the average Nigeria, I don't see any average Nigeria who can afford 600,000 now. And remember, we should know that it is not about buying the form or the nomination or what have you. There are still other costs, other necessities that money is involved. The first thing is getting the form. We all know that in the process of becoming an aspirant, so many things happen. So that money is still way too much just to say on that. But what I want us to know is that majority of Nigerians are looking for opportunity. So if they have the opportunity to go through the PDP, they will go. If the form is lesser, they will go. I know that from this selling of form, every political party, over organizations, they try to get money to run some important events. Like, for instance, selling of form is preparation for an election. But yet, they should try to reduce it so that indeed the average Nigeria can afford it.
Thank you so much, Comrade Godspal Kumbo, for joining us all the way from Benin. I do appreciate your insight, your analysis, and your presence on the show this evening. Thank you. All right, Mr. Eugene Osigwe, I'd like to get your concluding thoughts on what we've discussed this evening. With the Labour Party giving Obi 48 hours ultimatum to resign, I asked why not expel him instead, and the Nenadi Usman Ketika Committee saying that he did consult stakeholders before joining the opposition coalition to move to the ADC to the PDP sale of farms. In a minute, I'd like to get your concluding thoughts, please.
Well, I would tell the Labour Party that Nigeria is already stressed. They should not try and hit up the polity more. And they should also find a way of in between to reach out to Peter Obi. And I believe strongly that dialogue is the best approach to dealing with these things. So they should try. We are already stressed, and the media space is stressed. The audience are stressed. So they should not add more stress to us by giving an ultimatum. They should find a way around what they are doing. At least Peter Obi gave momentum to the party. They should appreciate that and also give him that regard. So, and they find a way to ask him, there are better ways to dealing with these issues.
Thank
so that's
you
what I will
so
advise.
much, Mr. Eugene Osigwe, for joining us this evening. It's been an interesting conversation. I hope we'll see you another time. All right, we'll have to leave now, but the conversation is not over. Join us again tomorrow on The Political Lens right here on Voice of the People Television. I've been your host. My name is Chioma Innocent. You can also join us on other wonderful programs as we continue to strive to bring you a voice. Jerry Akpelurai will be up next with the issues. Good evening.